for our second episode of Off the Cuff. What's up, everyone? If you know, if you don't know, anyways, RSG right here. You got Trevor, and then you got Sean, aka Ophidian. That's what's up. So, why did I just take that? Oh, I'm a dick. Wow. No, that's from someone else I watch. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a normal thing, that's what's up. But, that's actually, someone I know is saying, and I don't even know why I took that.
People do that, man. People do that. Sometimes I can tell what people have been hanging out with other people by the expressions and stuff they come back and use.
You don't know. And, oh, look at that. See, this is what happens when you don't mute your Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I have a friend that talks one way and then I have another friend that doesn't, I can tell that those two are hanging out when I see one that picks up pieces and so forth. It happens. People do it.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. Everyone sees it, so I mean, I guess it's nothing new. I haven't seen him for a while, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. Anyways, so last week was kind of all over the place. This is our first episode. So
that's what I thought the show was about. I thought it was about being all over the place.
yeah, but I kept forgetting what the hell we were even talking about. I remember at the end you were like, Xbox One. I don't know if they're gonna get Windows 10, and they are gonna get some kind of Windows. It's not like Windows 10 for your computer exactly, because obviously it's coded for the Xbox.
Well, what they run now is basically Windows 8, but it's not Windows 8.
Right, exactly. So it's kind of the same thing. But I was just at the end of it, I was literally what did I say? I was like, oh, yeah. Well, we gotta end the show. And I, didn't even, wait, no, it is coming. So.
It's okay, you're tired. You're a human being, it happens, we get tired.
Yeah, sometimes I just, I don't, I'll be in my, at my job, just pull over a cart, sleep right in the middle of the room. Actually, I'll roll it behind the big oven so, they can't see, and you just, nap. That's not actually true, because I'm afraid, no, in all honesty, I'm afraid that if my, somewhat large self, I'm not, gigantic, but, my somewhat large self, I'm kind of afraid if I just, lay down one of those, and all of a sudden just goes, boom, whole cart goes down. I'm like, oh.
That's when you fill out an accident
how do you?
report
Yeah, but how do you explain that? But anyways, back to some stuff that I was thinking about. So we were, I was, looking around, online, and I saw, a bunch of stuff, and something that kind of hit my mind that I remember, and backwards compatibility. I mean, remember backwards compatibility is a big thing, because now Xbox 360 had it, okay, and it was, so. So now, I know Xbox One, apparently, the CEO or someone was supposed to, I mean, don't quote me on who exactly was supposed to, but someone was supposed to, give some information, some news, and he delayed it again.
I saw something about that. It was a real presentation. They had an audience full of people, and they were talking about their backwards compatibility, and they were just saying how the preview people can get it now. And apparently a few games work. I think Mass Effect is one of them. But,
yeah.
I was telling you earlier that I hear it's been... You said it was pushed back. I heard it's getting pushed back to 2018. True backwards compatibility. I mean, any game. And,
that's pretty crazy.
I mean, I heard it's going to be even Xbox.
That would be... I mean, that would be great. I think it is a shame that these games, they sit around on people's shelves, and then if you want to play them, you have to have the system, basically. And it's am I going to rent out a freaking storage space? Am I going to sit here and be like, oh, let's go to Guardian Self-Storage, spend however much, per month, and just keep putting all our shit there, because obviously you can't keep storing that unless you really got a big house.
Well, that's something I want to talk about later. When we'll talk a little bit about emulation. That's another issue. But
Right. And so Now the big thing that I'm seeing that everyone is trying wants to see as backwards compatibility is Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is supposed to be like everyone's going crazy over it. I mean, I like the game. Did you play the game?
Yeah, I like the game. It was like Grand Theft Auto in the Wild West. You know what I'm saying? Like
It
cool.
was. It was. I mean, I'm not a spoiler kind of person, but I just wasn't kind of happy with the second character that was in it towards the end.
The end, how yeah.
He went from like "Yeah," to have a little. I'll get you.
It was a way to end the story, end it because like again, I don't want to spoil it. End it. You're done.
Right.
And at the same time, leave an open door.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to. Is there going to be a Red Dead Redemption 2?
I have not heard, but I haven't looked for anything. But I haven't heard
looked for anything either.
But the way the game ended, sure, definitely.
It makes you think, right? It would. Just like you would think with Super Troopers when they made Beer Fest and they said Pot Fest coming soon. You see Pot. Oh wait, we didn't see that yet because it never came out. I don't know. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
You expect it to come out and it just kind of doesn't. Actually.
You don't know if those things could be joke, like History of the World Part 2. Really? Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Like that was a joke on you.
Exactly,
part one?
because
I can't find it.
Exactly. Wait, was it part? It was part. Wait, was it part 1 or was it part 2?
I think the movie we got was part 2, and there never was a part 1. But I'm not certain. If you want to go look it up real fast,
you know what? We might have to do that. We might have to do that because that's a hilarious movie right there. I mean, Mel Brooks is freaking insanely funny.
Yeah.
Insanely funny. Let's see. So, I thought it was History of the World Part 1, but I could be wrong. I see Part 1.
It said History of the Line Part 2 quotes, so odds are.
Okay. So, yeah, it's History of the World Part 1,
Right.
and then Part 2 never came.
Okay.
Because it was like, well, there's a Part 1, there's probably got to be a Part 2. And it's, I guess not. So,
Yeah.
Honestly, if you've never seen it, I just gotta point out. Let me see if I can find actually a nice big image of this History of the World Part 1. Gotta see. I mean, Mel Brooks is just absolutely amazing.
It's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king. Yeah. Oh my God. The craziness that he spews out is just absolutely insane. So I can't get like a full size picture. So maybe let me see if I could do this.
It's gonna show up some rinky dink thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of dookie.
Fine.
Well, no, you know what? It's really not that bad. So what we'll do real quick is launch on over here and give you guys a little show of what it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's my OBS. I wish it would like open to the left. So there's History of the World, Part 1. So now you know what it looks like. You see it somewhere. If you see it like on a $5, just grab it. If you see it online, you gotta watch it. It's a Mel Brooks movie. How can you go wrong? You just can't go wrong. Blazing Saddles? Anyone? Come on.
Almost lost a $40 handcart.
Yeah. Spaceballs.
Good, but not as classic.
Not as classic. Not as classic. That's definite. That is surely a definite. Because you don't see movies like those anymore. You definitely don't. You don't at all whatsoever. And it's kind of sad. He has some stuff that he has to do, but we have to get back on track of the gaming.
Sit around and talk about Mel Brooks for
freaking ever because his shit was like the best. Now I know you said you want to talk about like some emulation and MAME. Maybe we'll do that like right in the middle, because that's a good one because there's a lot to talk about in there. I saw thinking of old school stuff. The first thing I think of when I think of old school, and of course, is Atari. But when I was growing up, I didn't have Atari.
Atari's before you. Atari's
yeah,
before you.
exactly. So, but yeah, what I can't really, go much on there. So I think of Nintendo first thing. I'm like, oh yeah.
Sure.
So apparently, Nintendo has actually patented or filed for a patent. I'm not sure. I think I'm not sure if they filed for a patent. I think they filed. Yeah, they had to have filed for a patent. I don't think they got it. But on the first, or on a, I don't know about the first, but on a discless. That's a kind of scary word to kind of say. It almost goes, you're like, oh, I hope I say this right. So, on a discless gaming system, and you know what I'm actually laughing about is, you know how many people I know that have computers with no optical drive, and they game the hell out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like that's already made, but it's I guess not a console. I mean that would kind of
Well, patent just means that they are.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
they
pay
have
their ass.
the idea. It doesn't mean they're gonna make it. Like they could people patent things all the time and then lock the patent away, just to stop other people from doing it.
Right,
That
right,
doesn't
exactly.
mean they're gonna do it.
Like I'll tell you right now, I'll bet you like Gillette has the patent that someone created, like something that you'd put on your face that your hair won't grow anymore there, And Gillette was probably like, no, buy that.
My big idea, and if I see it crop up after saying this, I'm gonna be a little annoyed. Like your cordless house phone
Yeah.
has a page button on it. When you lose it, you hit the page button and you walk around the house and you find your phone, right?
Yeah.
Why doesn't your television have a page button
For the remote?
And
And
I almost feel like that's one of those things that got patented and put away because they're like, we won't sell any more remotes if we do that. Like it's not a very hard idea. It's not
And and the thing, like as a TV company, right? I'd rather just put like crap parts in my remotes and make them go, like than sitting there and be like, oh, I hope they lose it, and then they'll just go out and get a Universal. I don't know. But I honestly, I honestly don't know why they haven't done that. On so many, like they've got it for your keys now.
Yeah.
That's cool, because I'll lose the shit out of some keys. I'd be like, where the fuck are my keys? Someone stole them. Someone stole my damn keys.
Yeah.
It was the freaking K-gnomes around here somewhere. Oh, I see one of them sons. Oh, no, that wasn't them. And then you look in like a normal ass place, and you're like, I'm good. See everyone. Like the worst is it's kind of like the same idea. Like, where the hell are my glasses? I can't find them things anywhere.
Yeah, that's a retarded
Where the
feeling,
hell?
I looking for something that's in your pocket or in your hand.
In your hand. Lighters do
something
that.
in your
Lighters
hand.
do that.
Yeah.
Bix especially. Bix will be like, you'll hold that, be like fiery hot by the time you're like letting it go. It's like, oh, I had this the whole time. I forgot all about that.
I'm sure it happens to everybody. I'm sure Stephen Hawking loses stuff just the same way,
Yeah. Yeah, he just loses stuff the same way.
I got bad jokes coming to mind.
Yeah, I can see that coming along. We talked about Nintendo, doing their patent on it, but with the way things are going, it's kind of a little scary of a thing.
Well, what does discless mean too? By the way, like, does discless mean maybe back to cartridge? I mean, because on a
well, if you think an
technological
SD
note,
card kind of is one.
SD cards now, I'm impressed with. I mean, I don't know how big they get. The biggest I have
128 gigabyte.
128, and that's an SD card.
That's the biggest they can go.
That's the size of your pinky nail.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's
the micro
just
SDs.
hypothetically say someone made something the size of a piece of paper that was, same SD technology. Just that thing would be goddamn massive. Like.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, but that's the thing. That's what's crazy is I guess the most they can fit in those is 128 gigabyte, which is pretty freaking insane.
That's no joke.
Like,
man.
do you remember when you were growing up, right? And the early computers, like the first, I wouldn't say the first computers because that's kind of retarded, but like the early computers in the 90s, you're like, man, I got myself a gigabyte. Yeah, and you're like, that is so much space. You're like Grand Theft Auto 60 gigabytes.
What was a floppy?
Holy
like
shit!
a 3.5-inch floppy. What was that? Like 1.5 megs? Like what?
It was something crazy. And then you remember
What the hell am I gonna do with
you'd
that?
get games. Remember you'd get like old school game. Like I remember I had a game called The Hand of Fate. It had like 11 discs, and I remember like it would crash. Like, pop in disc 3. All right, play for 20 minutes more. You know, so
I used to have something really cool. It was there's different versions of it out there, and they're obsolete now. But at the time, it was pretty awesome. I had something called the what the fuck? Ah man, the Super Magicom, and it was basically a disk drive for the Super Famicom, and it plugged in the top like a Game Genie, and then you plugged your cartridge into it. But it had a wire that ran out into a 3.5-inch disc, and it would just copy the ROM file off the cartridge onto the 3.5, and then you could have like a library of discs, and you load it in, and it just dumps the whole thing into the thing's memory at one point. It was it was cool for a time. That is the alternative. Now they have, I forget what they're called, but they're basically like cartridges that go in the old consoles, and you put an SD card in it, and you have all your ROM files there. Now,
I've seen that. But the
EverDrive. It's called the EverDrive. They make them for everything. I don't care if you want to play Game Gear or freaking whatever. They make
They do, and what's funny? I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. My buddy Ian has one that's got like Genesis, Super Nintendo, like 5 different cartridge slots, and you could play any of them, but it doesn't work with that.
Yes, the Retrocon.
The Retrocon, that's what it's called.
The Retrocon is really cool, but kind of not really, because it is just an emulation, and there are little sound tweaks and stuff that aren't just right. It's a cool way to go if you want to play retro and you're anti-emulation, but it is an emulator, so it's kind of like whatever. I think the best way to go without playing emulation is the EverDrive, because you're really playing on the machine. You're playing its hardware, and you're just taking the ROM file and dumping it in. But again, they lack save states. Okay, I get it. The old ones never had save states to begin with. But after having save states and not having them, you'll want them.
Yeah, and it makes.
Hold on, let me put my passcode in. Is that an O or a 0? I can't. Damn it! Like that. You don't want to do that. You don't.
I remember that. I remember that. Like you used to get passcodes to get back to that level. Yeah. Holy shit! I remember that. So like, it's like the save thing. There's a game I play called what is it? Game Dev Tycoon, right? And as you're doing it, like I kind of wish that these games are kind of really small, so there's not like, I wish there was more of a real simulation of it, kind of, and you would get your real timing to do stuff. And it's crazy all the different things you can develop and research, because it's all about that kind of stuff. Like, when do you want to put save games into it and introduce that to people? Because you have to think, you don't want to give them too much. You don't want to be like, oh, I'll just pick all the best stuff, pay a bunch now, and then put my game out with the best thing. And then now all your other games are just, So you're kind of like better off like, I'll give them this, and I'll give them that. Okay, cool. Next game I put out, I'm going to give them this, and this, and that. And that's kind of like how they, did it, and I think that's how it did it in the gaming industry as it got better. Like, I feel they knew how to do this stuff and how to get it to save.
I think Zelda was for the NES. I think that was like a launch title.
Yeah.
And it had a battery in it. They knew how to do it. It was just a matter of how much not the developers, I guess, so much, but how much the publishers wanted to spend on their product.
Did the cartridge really have a battery for saving it?
You take it apart, it's got a battery in it.
And you could save your game in it?
Yeah.
I didn't play. See, I'm probably going to get bitch slapped.
Oh, you didn't play Zelda?
I didn't play it all the way through.
Oh my god.
Honestly.
Oh, for shame. That's a classic, man.
I should probably play it as I am as at my age now. I'd probably enjoy it more.
If you're going to play any Zelda game, the one on the Super Nintendo, that's the best one in my opinion. That's the most fun. It's true to what Zelda was, and it takes it and makes it a little nicer and better, and that's my favorite Zelda game, definitely.
Well, that's
A Link to
so
the Past, I think it was. Good
I'd
game.
actually like to. I'd like to see that. Again, I'd like to see some of the old Zeldas again because I didn't really play them because I got so frustrated on Nintendo. I'll be honest. I got
Those
so,
games were hard, man.
yeah.
Yo,
That's what a real
I was
hard
watching
game
something on
was.
the internet where they were having like today's kids try to play like retro games and stuff from the 8-bit era, and their first thing is like these games are freaking ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
And if you play today's games, they really do kind of walk you through. They hold your hand the whole way.
They really do.
They really
But
do.
here's what it is though. Here's what it is. Play Platoon for Nintendo, okay?
No, you showed it to me.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna boot up the emulation. I'm not gonna do it. It's ass.
That was horrible.
It's ass.
And it's things like that, like
I don't know.
give me some lives. Don't just be like, oh, your game's over. You died once. That shit is retarded.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some tech guy who's probably going to spit out to me what it is. But I'm going to guess that Platoon was made by LJN. LJN made like every movie game for the NES,
Well, we
and
can
that
always
company
find that
cranked out nothing but garbage. It's like they paid the money for the licensing, and they knew kids were going to buy it because they liked the movie, but it's going to be garbage. LJN is the worst.
Well, let's see who actually put out
Ocean.
Ocean. Wow.
Hmm.
Worst video. And you know what? This is probably AVGN right here. No, but it's in a worst video games ever, and it really was. It was horrible, and I thought I'd like it because it was a great movie. But I mean, seriously, you die once. That's it. Game over. And I think that's what made games like so hard. There was a lot of games I did beat on Nintendo. There was one called Elevators or something
Elevator
like that.
Action?
Elevator Action.
I don't know if it ever... I never beat it. I don't know if it has an end.
I don't think it
remember
has
the
an end,
game.
but I remember just playing that for like ever.
Yeah.
There was some games I always played, like there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Remember how you always had the cartridge cleaners and everything?
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I was going on with like emulation versus the actual console, and I think mediocre collectors who are in the mid-range think that console is the way to go, and I think that major collectors that have an entire, game room, a dungeon full of everything.
Right.
I think that they started out, they were mediocre at one point, and they were like, the actual thing is the way to go, and I get that. But what eventually happens, regardless of how much money you have, is you run out of space. You run out of space.
Yeah.
I mean, like you were saying, you got, how many consoles am I going to have hooked up to my thing, okay? And then you got how many cartridges am I going to have, and so forth and so on. And when you emulate, it's just, like, what do you want to play? Pop, pop, pop.
By the end of your time, you're going to be like, you want to see my game collection? Alright, all the systems work. You can try whichever one you want. There's like 50 of them. I can't even count them anymore. Screw it.
Well, yeah, like, especially, like, I love arcades. I in the mid-'80s, that's when I was like 10 years old, and that was a great time for me. Arcades were awesome. Arcades were the place you would go to see more cutting edge than what you had at home. Like you would have your Atari, or maybe you had your NES, and you would go to the arcade, be like, look at the graphics, this is awesome,
yeah.
Or whatever, right? And then the console started to surpass what the arcade machines were doing, and it kind of changed the whole thing. Not to mention the fact that arcades got lit up. They used to be like dark. And they used to have like a motif. The one by us was like Spaceport. And the inside of it looked like a space station, and it was like dark.
I remember that. I remember that in the mall, right?
Yeah. It brought in a lot of like.
And didn't it call Time Zone or something like that or something?
Now a lot of them are Timeout, which I think is
Timeout.
Is
That's
Namco.
what. Yeah, but that's what they had eventually in our mall.
Yeah,
Timeout. Yeah.
Well, they lit the arcades up. I mean, the dark environment provided, like there were some thugs hanging out there and drug dealers and so forth and so on. So they turned the lights on, and when they turned the lights on, it became a Chuck E. Cheese to some degree.
Yeah.
Like mommy's going shopping, go in the arcade. It wasn't the same place anymore.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But again, sorry, I'm on the emulation thing today. Getting back to emulation, like, I'm pretty certain that I have a complete MAME ROM list. That's a lot, dude. I'm talking maybe thousands of arcade games.
Yeah,
Okay?
I mean,
and again, like, if you want to be a connoisseur that wants to go out and you want to get the actual, I'm going to get all those arcade cabinets, you would literally need a goddamn warehouse the size of, I don't know. But you know what?
oh yeah,
You know what? They all fit in my laptop.
exactly.
They all fit in my laptop. So, I mean, what do you want? The thing about the arcade games is how it's insert coin. right?
Yeah.
When you have the arcade games at home, they're built to challenge different. You know, like insert coin, fine. We're gonna play this game until I beat it, and that kind of takes the fun away.
Right, because you're sitting there at the arcade like, huh, shit, I'm getting low on quarters at home. Because I actually, my grandmother cleans houses, right? So, as you know, so
Yeah,
there was
if you
this
put
one
name in
place.
the cabinet, that's cool.
That's actually, we did that. Me and Ryan.
I've seen those, but you know what you should do if you have that, or you maybe already did it, is you have it in the cabinet. That's cool. That's great. I have a friend that did it. He has a friend that did it. It's really novel. It's cool. I like it. You know, either that, or you're gonna have to get yourself a bar stool, and you're gonna have to hop up to it, or get yourself an audio video out so you can plug it up to your TV. Because do you really want to stand at that thing for hours and hours on end?
Right, and
It's awesome. It's a great idea. I love it, but. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, me and my buddy Ryan, we actually built that. You know, and he wired it up and everything. Got the actual real arcade machine, arcade machine controls to work. So I mean, you could do it, but it was the same. It's just like you said. We were like, why are we standing at this thing? You know, like we could just sit in a damn chair. Like, what the hell? I mean, I guess you could pull up a stool to the arcade machine. But...
Or just run a wire from your arcade cabinet to your television and sit down on the couch, man.
Yeah.
Arcade games are great for two players. There's not a lot of two-player games anymore.
No, and actually...
There's really not a lot of two-player games anymore.
You know, we can go back to retro and emulation, but that really goes right into something I just thought about. And that's a game that I'm pretty sure you've played. I don't know if you played all of them, but I loved all the series of Mass Effect.
Oh, I love Mass Effect.
And I how the heck? I'm trying to remember how it's like Andromeda or Andromeda. I can't.
Andromeda.
And Andromeda. Is that what it is? Maybe. I mean, I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. But there's something really cool that was announced for them, and that was co-op. Okay. Not only are you gonna get a massive place, like a massive online environment, but you're gonna get co-op, so you can play with your best friend. I miss games with co-op.
Yeah.
Or and that's a great two-player experience right there that I love.
Like MMOs, I guess you could say are co-op, but they're also crawlers too, to a degree. You know, like it's basically, what mission do you want to play? They're not really so much like let's play the campaign.
Yeah.
And that's really lacking in a lot of multiplayer games too.
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of multiplayer games are all online. That got Call of Duties and stuff like that. And the Call of Duties, man, you'll be like 6 hours and this game's done already? Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't. Those games, the campaign is there. I think just to
be like, I'm a game. Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
but they're really just meant for people to just grind on each other all day. It's.
Yeah. And
I personally suck at them. I have them. I've played them. They're okay, but I get owned.
I used to be pretty decent, and then like I'd have my matches, and then I'd have my okay, and then I'd have my holy shit, I just dominated matches, and those would feel so good. But I kind of you just get tired of the same crap, and all you do is yell the whole time. You want to throw your damn controller. So, but when I heard that Mass Effect, had co-op coming to it, I mean, even though the huge online environment and everything, but co-op to me is a great thing. And I was telling you that when you were playing the Halo, with, the first Halo on your Xbox One, because it came with the legendary whatever, gave you all the Halos, and I instantly, once I realized that you could do co-op and I remembered it, I just was like, holy shit, that's what I fell in love with on the game. It was, we did our multiplayer. We had, split screen battles. Oh, you're screen jogging, dude. Oh, you suck, man. I know you're screen jogging, you lying bastard. Well, all that stuff, the fun stuff, and ruin friendships, and that come
Ruin
back. Yeah,
friendships.
yeah, they come
I
back
mean,
like a day later, like, dude, I'm sorry, man. The game just got me all crazy, man. It's
like in
fine.
real life friendships, like like a
Yeah,
friend that
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not talking to you because the other
Well,
day,
dude,
man. That's
well, dude, this is before like Xbox Live was going on,
my
man.
friends are cooler than
This is
that.
before Xbox Live, and you're just you're fucking screaming, dragon, like, and you're screaming at each other, like. I guess it is a tough thing. How do you really expect to play split screen and not look at the other? Where the hell am I going?
GoldenEye.
Where are they? GoldenEye was the shit, man.
There
I
was
got
nothing else really like it at the time.
No, there wasn't.
So
But I got something really funny about that. We played it so much
yeah,
at my friend's house. We played it so much. We burnt the damn cartridge out.
I wasn't a big fan of the N64. I had, I owned it. I worked at a GameStop at the time, so I got to bring home just about everything. But you know what, man? Really, I think the only titles that I enjoyed were Mario Kart and GoldenEye. That was it, man. That was my library that I loved. The rest was all kind of like,
Yeah, and then like but they had like Banjo Kazooie was like a huge thing, and then the second one failed.
Funny, yeah.
It was funny. But man, yeah, to burn out a cartridge, man, burnt it out. Like there was burn marks, and there wasn't like a power surge or anything.
I wanted to touch on that too, like cartridge-based consoles, man. Like they work today. You go dust off your Atari and plug it in, the goddamn thing works.
Yeah.
And as soon as they came to these moving parts with, like discs and stuff, they break. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Maybe now with the games being installed more and more digital copies being downloaded, that will slow down a little. But cartridge consoles, man, they last. They last and last and last.
Yeah. They really do. But that's why I thought it was so crazy to the fact we burned one out. We played it that much, it burned out. He had to go buy another one. I'll tell you, a lot of people like the N64 controller. I hated that thing. Like
that was retarded.
People were like,
that was retarded.
Oh, I like the trigger. Okay.
The way it just felt in your hand was retarded. It looked like the Batarang or something you were gonna, climb
like
up.
Your hand naturally wants to.
That was retarded,
like
man.
this. Doesn't want to like,
that was stupid.
Yeah, your hand doesn't want to sit there and be like holding and then your thumb pivoted up. Like it wants your thumbs on your sides.
The analog on it. I mean. The majority of them, if you come across them now, the majority of the analog will be leaned over to one side and just like.
Oh yeah.
Out. I don't know. I didn't like the system very much.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know exactly what you're talking about with that because that happened to all mine. And then on top of that, I also would step on them and then freaking the plastic top would snap off and you'd have a little rod and you're done.
Recently on the internet that somebody came across that prototype. When Sony and Nintendo were working on each other, and they wanted to make an optical drive for the Super Nintendo, and then they parted ways, and that's how the PlayStation was born. But I think if the N64 had a CD-ROM, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know why they stuck back like that, but Nintendo kind of always does the stick back.
Not like I love full motion video or stuff like that, but like when I had the PlayStation and I would play games like Final Fantasy and stuff like that, you knew that graphically that your N64 could do it, but they didn't have the space to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
right. But one thing thinking of N64 that drives me nuts is how people really hated the Mario for N64. I thought it was a great Mario. People hated it. So
I didn't like it. It felt like a tech demo.
Really?
It felt like a tech demo.
But I was young when it was so amazing to me. Like when I saw it, it was like, oh god, look at. But the system was okay, but they're always kind of bad.
I think the epitome that I hated for that game. The epitome for that game is I love Castlevanias. Castlevanias were great. Castlevanias on the N64 just like I don't know if I'm gonna buy another Castlevania game. This is absolute garbage. What the heck is this? So whatever.
And someone says that it was the worst fucking one, and you know it. I honestly don't agree with that. I think Mario Sunshine was worse. The Wii shit with the jetpack crap. I didn't like that at all. That was just it was so gimmicky. Um, but I know that I enjoyed the heck out of the system, but they're always a step behind. They're always, like, in the sense of what
Well,
they want to put out.
Nintendo doesn't really. I mean, they actually come right out and say, like, we're not trying to have the highest specs. We're not trying to have
Well, yeah, but the
best graphics.
But they take out like the okay. So the N64. Well, we're not gonna do CDs. GameCube came along. Well, we're gonna do CDs, but they're gonna be mini discs. Oh, and you can't fit a regular CD in there. So fuck you playing your CD that have been out for a long time before the system. I mean, how long have we been able to buy CDs for music before that system came out? Okay, and you're gonna tell me at the time the GameCube came out, nah, we're gonna do mini discs because you can carry it around. Okay, so making it, I would say about like maybe a half-inch bigger on each side would have made it not portable.
I have owned every Nintendo system except for the Wii U.
Yeah.
I've owned every Nintendo system, and the only ones that I really love to say are the Nintendo, and that's mainly because of nostalgia. That's what that is. Really, that's nostalgia. And the Super Nintendo. Those were the ones that stick in my mind for what Nintendo is. Again, they're coming out for kids now, or I'm not saying it's a kids machine, kind of is, but they're being born into it. Like they don't really see it for what it is. Like,
remember when Code Veronica was brought to like Dreamcast or not Dreamcast, GameCube? Like, hey, we're not all for kids, all right? We're not all for kids. I'm telling you, come on, look, we got Resident Evil. You can kill things and
yeah,
come on.
Dude, again, I don't hate Nintendo.
I don't hate Nintendo, but I remember
Nintendo feels like the Disneyland of video games.
It is.
I'm sorry. I mean, I know I just pissed off about 1 billion fanboys, and I like it, dude. I don't hate Nintendo, but it feels like Disneyland.
We've had their systems. We play their games. Hell, I was telling last time that I was just playing Anticipation. It's Pictionary. I could play Pictionary with anything, but I enjoyed it because it brought back great memories. So, I mean, I don't hate Nintendo. But they are on the kid, and they even like they're very out about that. They're very like, we are very family oriented, yay! And Xbox and PlayStation are like, let's get some gory crap. And I think actually, I forget if it was PlayStation. I think it was PlayStation, or it could have been Xbox 360 or Xbox. I can't remember, whichever one. There was a BMX game where like you could like make the girl topless, right?
Matt
or
Hoffman,
naked or something.
Matt Hoffman something BMX.
I don't know if it was Matt Hoffman that did that, was it?
I think it was. If you want to type it up, go look it up. I think it was. I remember you would drive around with a pimp on your pegs.
Let's see.
Going around getting your money from the hose.
Topless women.
I'm telling you, just type in Matt Hoffman.
BMX
Triple X. That was it.
That's it.
They might have taken Matt Hoffman's name off of it eventually.
No, there was another Matt Hoffman's. It just BMX Triple X. I think was something different. Like
I could bat out. I might be wrong. I'm not gonna.
Hey, no, yeah. I'm just What game was it? I think it was just Matt Hoffman's BMX. Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. Yeah, and they made a second.
Okay, fine. We couldn't just have talked about that later. No.
I have to make sure.
That's cool. I want to do the right thing too. That's cool.
I have to make sure.
Yes.
I don't want to give these people. Well, maybe I do want to give them false information.
But it gives them something to rant at us too.
Like you're lying.
It gives them something to do too.
Stupid son of a bitch! How could you be talking about that? You don't even know what you're talking about. So something else I was thinking about. I gotta actually, find. I got a good picture of it. So this is something. As we all know, virtual reality is getting like just ridiculous, and these companies are putting out everything you could possibly imagine. So Samsung, right? They have their Gear line of stuff. It's all their watches, and we can hook up with everything. Now I love Samsung. I've had their phone. I think I think they make great products. But they have the Gear VR powered by Oculus. Okay, and basically you put your phone like up to your face and it's virtual reality. It's kind of crazy. I will give it that. I will give it that. As you can see, you know, with the Gear on the Oculus, it, it looks great. And I know there's a guy who made a game, Gunjack. You know that game EVE Online, right? You ever heard of it?
I don't think so.
Well, it's funny. I was just actually talking about EVE Online with a friend, and like how much I don't want to play that. But anyways, it's a very successful game, and he is developing some kind of game called, I think, Gunjack, and he he's really like trying to develop for this VR on mobile phones and really get virtual reality on mobile phones. I'm like, I'm wondering. I've never seen so much money really dumped in, like time, money, and everything dumped into virtual reality as like 3D and all that. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff for 3D, but this is getting ridiculous. My mobile phone, now mobile phones are like capable of some crazy stuff nowadays, but really?
I don't know. Like, this headgear stuff, it can give you 3D, which the idea I'm going to tell you in a second really can't. I guess it could give you 3D too, but 3D TV kind of came and went. Like, people thought it was going to be something and it didn't. And I think it would be a little bit too expensive. But to get away from the headgear thing, it's not like groundbreaking technology. You'd have to come up with the hardware to run it. But, you know, like in a room, a small room doesn't have to be big because you're going to project out with your eyesight. But just 4 walls, a floor, and a ceiling made of LCD. I mean, instead of wearing this thing and looking around, how about really sitting in a chair and looking around?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You know,
that seems to be what would be much cooler to me. I don't know.
The thing is, it costs a lot less, and it works with all the motion. I do kind of think it would be more on the cool side, like, if I was, like, surrounded, like, but that would take some crazy graphics cards. Just surrounded by monitors. Or just have, like, a monitor.
Well, that's what it is. You don't need to be surrounded by a whole ton of monitors. You know, you need, what, 4, 5, 6. 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It doesn't, you know, you want to go sit at the beach? Fine, look around. Fuck, I don't care. Set your cooler up in your room right next to you. Have a few beers, sitting on the beach. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it'd be funny. Like, just throw like one of them really quiet fans on, like, throw like the ocean breeze candle.
Spray some suntan lotion around so it smells nice.
Yeah, like throw the ocean breeze candle like from right behind the little fan. It's just like, call up your friends. Yo, you man, you want to go to the beach? Just come over to my house, man. Yo, the beach is right in there. What are you talking about, dude? The beach. Your house is not on the beach. We're nowhere near the beach. No, dude, I swear, just go in my house.
Are we creating a prison for ourselves, though? I mean, by doing that? Are we not going to the beach because of it? You know? Like, a day at the beach?
Hey, I know my ass ain't getting attacked by sharks.
On kind of a stormy day or so forth, maybe you're not going to see a whole lot of hot chicks. Or hot dudes, whatever your preference is. But you're not going to see a whole lot of hot chicks. If you're at home in your little prison, hold on. There we go. Here they come. Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, yeah. I'm on a nude beach now. What do you think about that?
I've never been to a nude beach, but from what I hear, the experience isn't really all it's cracked up to be.
Oh no, it's all it's cracked up to be. That's exactly it. It's all it's cracked up to be. And there's a lot of crap.
It seems like everybody
around.
that you don't want to see nude are the people at the nude beaches. That's what I hear. You know?
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I really need to find me some lookers, oh. Oh, look at that one. I'm ugly. Oh, shit. You know, that's basically what's going on. That's why they're there.
I don't look at people like that, dude. You know? I look at who they are.
Yeah? So, you know, I don't know if I would call it, like, really entrapping yourself, but, you know, like I said, I'll tell you right now, my ass ain't getting attacked by a shark. I'll be like, hey, you want to see someone get attacked by a shark, but not you? Look at that shit. He's getting ripped up to shreds. But it's not
this is
real,
totally
so
off
who
topic, and
cares?
maybe it's a little foul, and I don't know how many. It shouldn't really offend the females out there. But I've never really took it into consideration until recently, and I don't. It just kind of came to my mind because of certain events in my life. When I go to the beach, I never really thought about, sharks can smell a drop of blood a mile away. That's what I hear. I'm not a biologist. That's what I hear. They can smell a drop of blood a mile away. And the next time I'm at the beach and I'm looking around, this is kind of on the raunchy side, how many of these chicks are menstruating? Maybe I should not be in the goddamn water. You know what I'm saying?
You never know. You never know.
Whatever. Sorry,
I know that was a little left field.
I'm sorry.
That was definitely a little left field.
Let's talk about some technology.
Let's talk about some technology. So, some of the things I was looking at was like something that I thought was really cool, and it's a series that we all love. I mean, who doesn't love Grand Theft Auto, right? Well, their series, not just one game, but their series have surpassed 220 million, I think it was, sales. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty damn awesome. Didn't you say at one point you knew someone who worked
I'm sure it does. I know it's not the exact same thing. I know. Grand Theft Auto. Oh yeah, I had a friend that worked for Grand Theft. His name was in the Vice City credits.
Nice too. So, I don't know, man. That's they're worthy of the amount of sales they get. That is a great feat to get. Like, hey, look, we passed 220 million sales. That's so much, But they do most of the time deliver some badass shit.
Bad garbage, bad good. I mean, Rockstar's not
like
golden
bad, good,
per se. They make a lot of good stuff.
But they have made some bad stuff.
They've made some bad stuff.
But I do really like what they do. So I know, you
look what I did. It's kind of fun.
He's like, yeah, well, it is off the cuff. It's unhinged, unrehearsed, and off the cuff. RSG.
All right.
So back to it. Like we were saying, they've made some good, they've made some bad. But I can count, I can think of more good games than they've made. Good games that they've made more than bad games that they've made.
Yeah.
So, I really think that's awesome. They actually have great deals on usually the pack of all the way up until 4. Like, you get all the shit. It's usually a real good deal. And then, what else did they recently? They did the heists they added to the GTA 5, which is an awesome thing with Rockstar. Is the fact that they, give their free DLC of the the heists and stuff in GTA 5. That you didn't have to pay for that. Most other games would have made you do that.
My chair broke on me, everybody.
And someone is asking, when should governments intervene in the market? They shouldn't, I guess. Really, I mean, should the government really intervene in the market of gaming? I mean, should there be lines drawn like, hey, look, I mean, but it goes back to it's a game,
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what that question means.
Okay, like, there shouldn't be games where, like, you learn how to precisely build a bomb. Like, okay, I understand that.
Last week we touched on it where I was saying how people take drugs to escape reality, and virtual reality is exactly that. So, I mean, if you're talking about when the government should take care of that, could video games, virtual reality, it doesn't have to be video games, become a new drug to some people? Sure, I think without a doubt it could.
Virtual reality, right.
Yes, it could become a new drug. But, I mean, on the other end of that, if you want to talk about Big Brother and Uncle Sam or so forth and so on, I don't think they're going to intervene at all. Or maybe they already have, and this was part of the plan. What they would like is for you to sit in your house, keep your mouth shut, and they'll be perfectly happy. It's,
I mean, I don't think the government
have intervened.
Yeah, I'm sure they've already intervened to a degree. You know, like I said, there's not you don't see games out there like Bill Bomb Builder '05. You know, you don't see none of that shit. You know, like they'd be like, "You cannot release that, sir." Nope.
We're getting
Nope.
into different.
No.
I'm not going to go into it that much, okay? Because it's a different area of my life, and it's not what this is for. But everything is a distraction. Everything is a distraction. Everything is meant to keep you occupied. And if you think it's fun, then that's awesome. Enjoy it. Everything's a distraction. That's enough of that. That's enough of that.
There you go. And that's it on now on that part. So back to some things. So like everyone's been saying, you know, with the backwards, they all want Red Dead Redemption, but like I want to see if there's a Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out eventually. That would be smart on their part.
They did that zombie pack thing. You
What is
didn't see about it. Really, that
No.
was pretty popular.
I honestly got so fucking sick of zombies because there's just zombies. Let's go play DayZ H1Z1. Let's go play. I think in Left 4 Dead I don't think was zombies. Was it? That was like more like creatures or something like that. Or was that? Yeah, I think that was Left 4 Dead. But there's just like so many zombie things. Oh, Call of Duty with their zombies. You know, let's play zombies. I don't want to keep shooting hordes of zombies. I really just don't. Like, I want there to be a plot, a thing we do.
Zombies have big following out there. You know, a lot of people like it. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. It's cool. I like zombie movies, I guess, to some degree. Some of the older ones are classic to me. But I think like someone like Nintendo is more likely to get away with the zombie movie because you're not killing people.
Yeah.
You're not killing people, so we can do that. And
Got it. Yeah. Because
I have some more things that are funny, and I'm going to spit them out, and whatever, it's going to affect whatever forever, I guess. Necrophilia is against the law. Against the law, right? It's gross. It's a sick thing that people shouldn't do or think about or whatever. But if I watch a zombie movie and I think one of those chicks are hot, what's going on? Am I sick? Is that illegal? Am I thinking,
yeah,
whatever?
Yeah,
I know some chicks that think some zombies are hot. Yeah, we're kind of talking about. Yeah. All right. New topic.
No, but no, you had a point. You had a point. But yeah, like I just got over the zombie craze. I couldn't stand the zombie craze anymore. It was like, okay, can we please just be done with this shit? So I just kind of like stopped watching, like games and anything really associated with them. So yeah, that's why I kind of haven't like kept up with that. Now, I think we did. Did you really have anything else really to say much about emulation in MAME?
No, I guess I pretty much said everything that I have to say today that comes to mind. Like, I'm not really sure if it's pro or con. Like, some people are really against emulation,
right?
And I get where they're coming from. To me, it just makes more sense to emulate. It's not even about money this time, guys. It just makes more sense to emulate. I understand the purity of the actual thing.
Right, but it goes back to the same thing. Okay, you know what? Make a way for me to if it makes you feel better, have the companies make some way for me to purchase the ROM from them. And
that might piss you off, actually. I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Charge me like the reasonable price for the ROM. Don't make
that stuff is almost abandonware. Really, it is. It's almost abandonware.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody's hunting down people that are making emulators and so forth. I mean, the people that are making emulators, they give themselves some credit, but it's mostly like under pen names and stuff like that. I mean, but nobody's charging money per se. There's one guy for the TurboGrafx 16 emulator. I forget what it was called. He wanted money, but he's the only guy out there that has a decent one running too. So it's really weird. But the majority of them don't want money. They don't want to be found. They don't want credit. It's strictly, a labor of love. That's what it is. So,
yeah.
Money's not involved. I don't know.
I think people need to settle down with that. Seriously, you can take it as a form of stealing or whatever, but it's like you said, it's almost like abandonware in a sense. Until they come out, until Nintendo comes out with a way, or Sega, or any of them come out with a way, other than you finding a way to buy that system, finding a way to find those games without paying exorbitant prices for, you know, at that point, guess what? I don't want to play the game. Oh, it's an exorbitant price.
Yeah, I just don't think they care.
It can go.
I just don't think they care.
Right. So if you really want to combat it, if people want to make a fuss about it, you know, just make a way to charge me for it and make it legal. You know, like
nobody makes a fuss about it. Companies don't even care about it. What I was talking about really wasn't stealing or so forth and so on. It's the purists that are like, oh, you're stealing it, you know, and so forth. And they're not really. They're fanboys to a degree, the purists, you know.
Well, yeah.
And I see where they're coming from, but
I guess you just can't please the world. That's kind of what it is.
You know, I don't know. To me, I get a USB adapter, and I want to play with my 8-bit Nintendo controller, and I want to play on my computer. You know, like I said, there might be a few sound quirks here and there, or so forth, but that's the best way for me to go.
Yeah.
Get a Genesis adapter, you know, like whatever. Or like I was saying before with those SD card readers.
Yeah. I mean, that's really cool because you don't need but I mean, still, think of how much space systems take up just in general.
Yep, they take up space. They take up. Angry Video Game Nerd was going on about the power outlets.
Yeah, like, you know. Oh, you know.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
Yankees,
At least mine is just a convenience store. You got to remember, there's a lot of people that people feel very strongly about. So nobody really gives two shits about the convenience store.
Hey, it holds my drink. It's like they're working for me. See?
This guy could be a serious Mets fan, you know.
He
could be any kind of fan.
He likes like Colorado stuff. So yeah, Colorado. Yay! There, make you happy? You like it? There you go.
You gotta watch, man. Like I haven't. This is kind of like new to me and stuff, but I see how people troll us here and there, and it's funny. It cracks me up. Like someone will be like, "Hey, it's my birthday," and I think that they're just trolling us. Like maybe it is their birthday, maybe it isn't their birthday, but I think that they're to some degree like, "Let's see how I can affect this show. Let's see if I can get a birthday shout out."
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like, let's talk about Pokemon. These guys are actually going to talk about Pokemon. You got to watch these guys. You can't really go and make them happy, but at the same time, you don't want to go pissing them off either. So,
well, yeah,
this is a new game for me, kind of, but I'm not.
Luckily, the person that said that, I'm definitely not worried with anything.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, like people just will go so out of their way to interrupt. Like there is there is no joke. People who will, you know how there's like donation, like I have an alert on here, right, and it'll play sounds. People have donation alerts. People will be like, $3. Hear the donation sound. $3. Hear the donation sound. $3. Hear the donation sound. $3. And it's like, they just will drive the person nuts. Like this one girl. Now, I know she was doing it. She was...
He knows you were doing it.
So, completely off topic. It's my birthday today. Okay. Someone just said that, so I guess it was, you know... I would have thought that I would have heard if it was his, so I'll have to confirm later. But I would have heard. So, anyways.
Touche.
Wow, why did I draw a blank on what we were just saying? Because I looked at the chat. See, the chat is evil.
Yes.
You know.
I don't know. At some point, it's good maybe to let them feel a little involved. You know, like shout out some ideas, but you can't let them take you either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, so.
Yeah. That's what kind of like. Happened just on that one right there.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to other things that we've been looking at or that I was just thinking about today is, think of how far graphics cards have come along in GPUs. So you know, it used to cost so much to get something to do a good job. Now you can spend, you know, like 350 and get a 970 like I have actually as a goal for my Twitch page.
Right.
And I think that
Stop looking at that.
No. I think that the GPUs that are out today are just amazing without having to go for that $500, $600, $700 GPU. Granted, if you do get the $500, $600, $700 GPU, it's going to be a monster and run whatever. But I will say the $350, hey, I still cost a lot, but I'm not going to rape your pockets. GPUs are really still kicking ass. So you have the 970, and then you have also on AMD's side, which AMD has totally started kicking ass. They have, I think it's a new 390. And I see we have a lot of people, commenting in here. So we have a buddy of mine that I actually like to watch on Twitch, which is a Razor Sharp 77 in here.
Shout out. Awesome.
I'm gotta give him a shout out. Because there was a time I was like, Twitch is really getting to the point. I don't know if I can really take the time out to do this anymore. And actually chilling around like in his room and stuff kept me like, this isn't so bad. I should keep going with it. So it was kind of cool. But back to some other stuff. With like some of the games that are out today, I go totally off top. It is off the cuff, so what the fuck? I mean, who gives a hell? But the games that are out today are definitely not like the old ones were, and we were just saying on the emulation, the old games were just absolutely amazing in the sense of what you really got for them. Even on Xbox, like the original Xbox, what you got out of the game was really good. Old PC games, I'll tell you what, LucasArts, their packs. Remember the LucasArts packs for the PC?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, those are the shit, dude. They were like the best point-and-click adventure games I've ever played in my life. You had the Monkey Island games.
Mm-hmm.
Can't ever go wrong with Monkey Island games.
Sierra was pretty decent as far as point-and-click goes, too, I think. Like I had a lot of fun with Police Quest. I had a lot of fun with Space Quest.
But, I'll tell you right now, those games in particular, you need a walkthrough. There's no fucking way you're doing that shit.
And what's funny about that, during the time, this is kind of pre-internet when those games were released.
Right, so man, get your ass out to the store and go buy a strategy guide, or you ain't beating this. But I did love the King's Quest things. The old King's Quest, though, with the text pick.
That was
move rock up.
No.
Move rock left.
No.
Move rock right. Move rock to fucking.
There you go. You got it down. Move rock down. You got it right that time.
Son of a bitch.
They simplified it, but
yeah.
But that was also coming out of a time where maybe you remember, maybe you don't, probably not. Games like Zork, that were completely text-based.
Yeah.
So it was basically like we took a text-based game and added some graphics to it. That's what was going on. That's what King's Quest was birthed from.
Yeah, and I played some of those back in the day, and honestly had no fucking clue what the hell was going on. It was the stupidest thing ever.
I don't know. I wouldn't really call them video games. They're more of a choose-your-own-adventure book. It's whatever, man.
But I love those old LucasArts games, man. There was some other stuff I used to play back in the day. Do you ever play like the Police Quest SWAT games?
I'm sure I have. I'm not remembering it though.
It was like 3 discs, and basically you had like 3 or 4 scenarios. It wasn't a lot of scenarios, but like for the time, it was almost like movie footage. It was why can't I think of the name? C something G. It's like cutscenes. What the hell?
Computer generated?
I guess it's computer generated, but it's the abbreviation. Anyways, regardless, the cutscenes were so like kind of like detailed for the time. So it took up so much space. There really wasn't much of a game to it. And once you figured out what the hell to do in the game, kind of was just like, oh, I never have to play this again. But it was kind of cool. And
You mean I think there was
CGI? Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Computer graphics imaging, something like that.
Couldn't think of it for the life of me. I was like, oh, what the hell?
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, those kind of games. What was
Police
one?
Quest was like the earlier ones of those. Remember them?
Yeah, those weren't those though. But what was one? Mad Dog McCree. It was a gun game.
Yeah.
And, you know, like once you know those games, you know those games. You know where people are going to come out and so forth and so on. Yeah, those games. Dragon's Lair. It wasn't CGI so much per se, but it was still that laser disc.
Yo, that game is a hard game, and I watched you play it, man.
I got good at that game. I don't know why. I mean, they're just push left, push right, push up.
But it's just timing and everything. Oh man, those were tough. So one of the people in our chat says, Sewer Shark on Sega CD or Night Trap.
Sewer Shark, the guy is yelling at you the whole time. He belittles you. Night Trap, I tried Night Trap. I cannot get into it. I just can't. I'm switching between too many cameras. I'm like, what's going on? But thinking of Sega, that made me remember this one game. I forget what it's called. I want to say Time Traveler or something like that. And I thought that this was like some really high-tech machine until I seen the inside of it. Back in the day in the arcade, it was white, and it had kind of a dome over it. And it was as close as I would think what holograms were. I mean, you would literally, it looked like the chessboard from Star Wars, you know, where you feel like you can touch this thing and your hand goes through it.
Yeah.
I thought that technology was pretty awesome and that I was going to go places. The game was horrible. The game was kind of like one of these CGI games where it was like, oh, push left. Oh, push right.
Yeah.
But I had high hopes for the technology. Later on, I got to see what it was. It was just a reflection that was based off of a curved image onto a flat, shiny surface, and I was kind of let down. But
oh, okay.
I would have liked to have seen more of that kind of stuff if they could have made decent games for it. I think they also made a fighting game for it too. I forget what it's called. If I had my MAME emulator, MAME will run it. But yeah, it was garbage. Cool technology.
You know, there's a lot of things that I've seen that happen with, actually. You know, and it doesn't just limit to games. I've seen that with so many things, like cars. They try to put too much technology in, and it ends up like failing, like where the simple could have went better. Like,
I'm just like early '90s when your car would talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, like, your door is ajar.
Yeah.
What is going on here? Do I need this shit? I remember my mom would get pissed off at my stepfather because you could change the voice and you could have it like, you know, they would have it like this woman would be like, your door is ajar. Screw your car.
Wow. Nowadays, if you had that,
how about power antennas?
Oh my God!
Yeah, look at that! Just technology coming out of everywhere. Like, what do we do with this crap?
Right.
I don't know.
And what did it do? Power antennas. How many people do you know what
they
power
all
antennas? They all did. So it's like I'm saying, you know, like sometimes they just try to throw in too much technology, and it ends up hurting. It just ends up hurting. You know, like The Dig. I love the game The Dig. Okay, but from what most critics have reviewed, now I love the game, but apparently a lot of other people don't, and there's a lot of people who do, of course. And their thing is, they focus too much on technology and CGI rather than gameplay and, you know, and going on. And it's like, I didn't truly agree with them, but it is a point-and-click adventure game. What the hell? How much action do you want to go on in a point-and-click fucking adventure game?
I don't know if like the kid was saying before about the government intervening. I don't know if the government did it or if companies just did it out of not wanting to offend the people. But where did all the gun peripherals go? They're gone. They're gone.
Like,
they're gone.
There's some. No, they're here. They're here. You just don't see them because people don't really buy them. You know.
I saw on
it's so
on
much
Kinect,
of a gimmick.
A friend of mine has the Kinect, and he's always getting me to go over his house. Yeah, it's very gimmicky. I don't really dig it very much. But there was some gun-based game where you make a gun with your finger and you shoot it at the Kinect and stuff. And I wasn't having that. I just wasn't feeling it. I tried the game and I'm just like, yeah, man, this reminds me of like Cowboys. Bang, I got you. You're dead. But I was very uncomfortable.
You'd be like,
with it.
bing, bang, boom, boom,
I was
bang,
very uncomfortable
bang.
with it. And so I was just like, dude, do you have a toy gun around the house somewhere I can use instead of my fingers? Will this work? You know, like anything. Like,
Like, yeah, no, I totally agree. You don't really, yeah, you really don't see it, and but
Nobody wants to touch it. I don't know if they're not allowed to or if they just don't think it's
no,
politically correct.
it's just no, it's not that, it's not that, it's the money's not in it. You would think it
The
is,
games are repetitive. It's you learn where it comes out and that's how it happens.
but not even if they like, nowadays they're so advanced, like you could use them on like Call of Duties and stuff. Do you really want to move forward, with your thumb like right here, like stuck down? Oh, come on, like it's not.
Yeah, if you try to make it into 3D worlds, what I was thinking more was Virtua Cop, Time Crisis, stuff like that. Where moving around didn't really have too much. There wasn't very much moving around. There wasn't running and looking. It was basically just playing for you like a police shooting simulator.
Yeah, and
Maybe the genre just died out. Maybe nobody did anything.
I think it kind of did. Cause remember, what was that other one, like the one where you're in like the haunted house or whatever the heck, and you had the guns and.
It's not Silent Hill. Obviously, Silent Hill is what it is.
Yeah, no, this is always
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead.
That was always in the arcades. Yeah, let's play this. It was pretty fat. It was pretty fun.
It was cool.
It was cool. It was cool. Like I said even on the last one, Razor had that crazy like dome thing that you run in, and then you got a gun and you've got the shit on your face or whatever the hell, so you could see in virtual reality, and it's like. It'd be a great idea for weight loss, though. I really have to give it to that. I'd be like, posting on Facebook, sitting there. 3 weeks ago, I weighed 200 and some odd pounds. Now I weigh 90. Like, it's kind of, you get someone who's addicted to, oh man, I've been on this thing for Red Bull. Yeah. People get crazy on games, man. There's people that on Twitch, there's like some people that do like 72-hour streams. How the fuck do you stay up that long, man? Had 72 hours? I'll be like sleeping in a chair, I'll be out.
Yeah.
I couldn't do 72 hours, but people do it in 24-hour streams.
I'm gonna jump back to arcades for just a second.
Yeah.
We're all over the place. I'm sorry. I was one of the few people I knew that owned a Neo Geo.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and I only owned like 6 games. These things were like $200 and change. The RAM was actually on the cartridge. That's why they cost so much. If you've ever seen one of the cartridges, it's quite a beast. I mean, it's a beast. And inside, it's got like 2 strips for the card instead of just one.
Yeah.
But Neo Geo did something cool for the arcade that I wish other companies did, and I think maybe it would have prolonged the arcade's life a little bit. And again, not many owners had it, so they didn't really take advantage of it. But it had a memory card. It was basically like a credit card, and you could store your achievements. And they even tried to have like some RPG kind of games in the arcade, And you didn't have to own the system to do this. You could go out and get the card on your own. And like Cross Swords was kind of one of those, and you would get far in an RPG at the arcade. That was cool, and you would put your card in and save your data and go. I would have liked to have seen that implemented more. I mean, I'm just talking whatever. Maybe it wasn't implemented because they owned some patent or something like that, but it was cool. Whatever. Off topic. I'm done. There you go.
Well, no, I mean it doesn't really matter. I mean, right now we're getting towards the end of the show. So the topics are going to be scattered right now. We got everything that I had on my mind from like actual gaming news and stuff that's been out that I just saw and read over the past days and weeks.
Cool. We'll spend another week. We'll think about some stuff. See what we come up with in our heads.
Well, yeah. See what's going on, and then just think about what we can remember from it and talk about it. But so. Let's see. Last week I talked about like how Logitech had the new steering wheel, so they came back out. But I think I'm kind of over that fad right now. Who's the other big player? So we talked about last week. If anyone didn't see, the first episode, you should definitely go back and check out the first episode. This is we do talk about some stuff. This one I feel was a lot more put together. Than the first one. The first one was like, I couldn't even remember half this shit I was talking about. I was so, like, lost, didn't even know what the hell to do. So, if I had to think about anything more about games right now, and it's something It's just mainly about games that I want to see more of, you know, and less DLC. I want games to come back to normal, but it won't happen.
It doesn't matter what you want, as long as people keep paying their money, then whatever. We have to remember that we're the people that fuel this machine. They're gonna
Yeah,
keep doing it to us as long as we keep giving them our money, man. That's
yeah, yeah, and
and it becomes like a status thing to some degree. It's not even like I got a guy at work who just buys a ton of games so he can say how many games he has. You know, it becomes a status thing. Like
yeah, like buying like dollar games and stuff just to say, oh, I got 280 games.
you got a kid at school who's gonna buy some DLC. You know, like my kid might be at school and they might have a friend at school and they just get the DLC because they want to have more than their friends. And then when they, you know, they go play their new DLC, then their other friend can't play anymore, and they buy it, and it starts like a snowball effect.
Oh yeah,
So I mean, I don't know.
you know, but they say
People
they.
just buy crap, man.
I can understand though that they need money. You know, that's where actually that's one thing I left off of my priority list in my head that I totally forgot about. So I got back into doing World of Tanks. Okay, and I told you to put that on your
Yeah, I
Xbox.
downloaded it. I haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that tonight.
Um. Yeah. Just to give a little background, Razor, in this room, he's got like a gaming library
Okay.
in his house. So sometime I'll have to show you. You know, the craziness he's got. Like you most likely you'll name a game and he'll be like, "Oh, look, it's right here." Like, so that's pretty badass. I can't say I could do that. So that goes to his comment where he goes, "I hate guys who buy lots of games." Kappa, you know.
Do what you enjoy, man. If that's what makes you happy.
Hell yeah. You know, he's got some cool collector's edition stuff too. So that's pretty awesome. But I was saying with the before with the DLC, but we kind of got like over that. World of Tanks is where I got into, and that's where some of these free to plays are like pay to win. Now, since playing it, there would be in World of Tanks the gold rounds. Um, it seems like they kind of got dumbed down because it used to be like, oh, look at you being a little, like, in my opinion, I'm like, oh, look at you being a little bitch. Oh, you know what? I've got money, so I'm going to just make the game easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, you know, Grand Theft Auto had cheats, but it was probably fun at some point to play them without the cheats and beat it normally.
Well, if a game is good enough, then people will do that on their own. They'll want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and
I can go, you know, I can go dupe, and I can go dupe things in Oblivion and so forth. You know,
Yeah.
but I've also gone back and played without doing that because I want the game experience.
right,
So
and you
if
know,
the game is good enough, they'll do it on their own.
right, and see, like Morrowind. Honestly, I ruined it for myself every time because I get so impatient with Morrowind because that the way the battle is just so bad. I end up
Just wrote
like
the command line.
I'm like, yeah, let's make my strength a little better and let's do this and I realize within an hour after doing that, like, wow, this game sucks now. Like, you know, you took all the fun out of it. You're like, hmm. So you have these free to play games, and like I said, you pay to win, and it is kind of annoying, but I can see things going more like that way maybe in the future. I don't know what I want more. You know, if they're gonna sit there and ask me for $60 for this game, then be like, okay, well, I also want you to have, you know, this DLC and this DLC and this DLC all in 1 year. Okay, you wonder to yourself, would I rather have a free to play game that if I wanted some shit a little quicker, maybe to unlock, or some stuff that I can't just unlock with that, maybe now I'll spend some money, you know, but you're still getting a really full game in World of Tanks, like, you know, without spending money. It just takes longer to get there. Spending money on a free-to-play game is literally in a sense,
It's bait.
cheating.
It's bait.
It's bait.
The
Of
game was
course.
bait, man. And if you bite, you bite. But I mean, this conversation that we're having, that there's guys that sit around in a boardroom thinking about how they're going to do this. You know what I mean? Like, they're not just coming up with this. Like, I don't know if I've ever heard the term thrown around, but the psychology of gamers. You know, like how we think and what stuff is worth to us and so forth and so on. Don't forget, these people are out there and they're paid well to think about what we think about.
Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know what I'd want more, though. That's the question. Do I want a company throwing a bunch of DLC at me, or do I want games to start going to free-to-play and, pay-to-win kind of thing? But that can't work for everything. I mean, obviously, The Sims, it's just you have to deal with the big old pocket raping that they give from all their DLC and stuff packs.
Let's just go back to complete games and DLC being, like I was saying in the last episode, some armor for your horse. Don't give the people some super fancy weapon in DLC that you can't compete against, because now you just ruined it for everybody else, jerk.
Or if you're gonna have DLC of more gameplay or something of that nature, make a full game. Don't be like, well, here's a game that you could beat in 6 hours, but for some DLC you could make it another 4.
Well,
No.
On that, you were talking about how you love Mass Effect. Mass Effect does that to us.
No, Mass Effect gives you a really big game.
No, it's a big game.
That's what I mean. They
but
give
if you want more, if you want alternate endings, if you want,
Well, and like someone said, DLC for them, because they'll only get if they're crazy about a game. But it goes back to the same thing: free to play, pay to win. If you want to,
well, free to play, pay to win. That is kind of the way I think the music industry looks at MP3s and stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they've abandoned the days where they're like, I'm going to sue everybody for handing out my music or so forth and so on. I think that artists now realize that the music is free. It's free. They can't win this fight. They're not even trying to win this fight anymore. The times change. Now the music is merely a commercial. If I like your stuff, of course I downloaded it. If I went to the store and bought it. I mean, no, I go to the store and buy stuff. Of course I downloaded it. But now, if you get your butt on the bus and you come to my town, now that I've heard about you, since I've downloaded your stuff, there's a good possibility I'll go check you out. And that's where their money's going to be made now. That's kind of the same thing with free to play, buy to win or whatever, pay to win.
Pay to win. Well, I call it pay to win. It's free to play, but here's the thing: World of Tanks, you can get up to the high tier tanks,
but it's
going
ridiculous.
to take a long time, unless you just spend hours and hours, which I did even still. And even if you pay, you really don't.
They probably left that door open just to not seem like jerks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible.
See, now Razor and is saying that he skips right over free to play. See, I don't do that, because there is some free to plays that are really good, when they're done right.
Excuse me.
But see, I see what they're saying about paying full price and have the full game with the optional DLC if you want. And that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Free to play can't work for every game model. It's more on the war games and stuff like that it would work on a better platform with that. But as far as saying full game, that's my problem. I want a full game and optional DLC. So using the exact words of what Razor's saying, I do want a full game and optional DLC, but that's the thing, I want a full game. I don't want some shit that's like, hey, look, it's only this long, you could add a little more. No, it should be that little more, and then you could add a little more. It shouldn't be some small, short.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there should be like I shouldn't say like not written in stone, just something up in the air, like, okay, our game has to at least have a gameplay time of this long. Like Metro 2033, I just did recently, okay? I beat it, and right there, I'll tell you, um, you know, that was a long game. It took some good time. It took me like, you know, 3 days at 5 hour clips. So this is we'll say a 15-hour game, right? Hey, you could beat it, I'm sure, in 11, maybe even less. But it really gave me that long time, and I didn't really. The problem there might be DLC for. I didn't really see any. Um, but that's what I mean. Like, give me a game that has the length, the gameplay. Like Fallout 3. Look at that. How long of gameplay time did you get before they said, "Here, you could do some other shit too," when you ran out of this stuff to do? Same thing with the Elder Scrolls games.
Fallout 3 had some side missions going on. It was a big game. It wasn't as big as the Elder Scrolls. It wasn't. It was shorter. I can finish Fallout 3 in 50 hours.
Yeah.
If I plow through the main quest.
Yeah. Yeah, if you plow through the main quest. And it's true. But, overall, though, I'm just saying 50 hours, though? You got 50 hours of gameplay? Before having to touch a DLC? That's amazing. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So, I think, it's like, even they're saying in the chat, they're talking about how DLC, just give me a full game, without all this DLC. And okay, I'll accept DLC. Okay, but like for instance, when EA puts out a stuff pack for The Sims, put out a stuff pack. Okay, there better be tons of shit in that one pack. They did 3 stuff packs in 3 months.
I think it becomes offensive, or you can feel it at least, when you know that they've thought about this ahead of time. That's what, like DLC, if it's like an afterthought idea, hey, check this out, then you're less likely to be like, hey, that's kind of cool, check it out. But if you can sense that they've thought about this ahead of time and this is what we're going to do, you feel like you're getting screwed. You feel like someone set you up and they did this to you. You know what I mean? And that's where, I don't know, they have to know that we know. And that's all there is to that. I mean,
and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're just going to sit here with DLC for the rest of our cod-flabbing lives. Sitting there just... It's just annoying. Sad and annoying that we have to deal with these money-grubbing companies. Like, I still have to crap on EA. Hopefully, the new Mass Effect is good. But, they really will. There's a lot of times that they're just starting to take, like, whopping shits on new games that, let's make a game come out. Like I said, SimCity, I always go back to that. But everyone always usually goes back to a certain game. I go back to SimCity on how their launch was, and the game still sucked. And people can have their opinions on it's good, it's bad, whatever. But
I think it's business no matter where you go. Like, CEOs, these kind of people up here, they're making hand over fist, right?
Yeah.
But that's not to say, the workers. I remember EA a couple years ago had a problem where their employees were like, listen, they treat us like garbage, and the company's making a ton of money. Konami's in the hot seat right now. Konami is treating their employees like complete garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, like for somebody to say like, oh, I work for Konami, and they say, wow, you must make a ton of money. No, I'm 2 steps away from making pachinko machines. Like these guys.
From pachinko machines, really? That's hilarious. So
greed, man, greed. It's always in the way. It's always going to be in the way.
It is just, oh man. And I understand, I can understand the need for DLC to a degree because
I would buy Fallout 4 for $100 as well.
Yeah, because I know I'm getting that $100 worth of my money, and that's why I love most of the Bethesda games, because what they really do, like sometimes the times are slow, but I really get that full playtime. I really always feel I got my money out of it.
You remember last week I said something about digital downloads versus physical copies.
Yeah.
And I was saying about how I can't. I told my friend I'm getting an Xbox. Do you have anything I can borrow? And he was like, no, I don't. And I was like, I thought you had 30 games. He's like, I do, but they're all digital copies. You know what's funny is after we put that episode out, I got a message on my Xbox talking about how to play your digital downloads at your friends' houses without, whatever. And I just thought it was weird that the timeline coincided with that. Apparently there is a way to do it. I didn't pay much attention to the message. I was more concerned with the fact that I had just said that, and then I got a message going, oh, no, wait, you can do that. So
That's funny, right? hey, wait. Did you hear that? No. Yeah. No, dude, you just gotta do this. Here's the information. Like, I don't know, man. Like, how do they even like
if I go to my friend's house and I have a download of Forza 5, and I go to my friend's house and I want to play my Forza 5 at their house, there is a way to do it.
Yeah, you gotta log into your shit.
Yeah.
And then you go through the whole thing.
So I guess technically my friend could let me log into their stuff, or vice versa, and we could play each other's
Kind of like
games.
Steam family sharing without, being a little more complicated, though.
It was just
Steam
funny
family
timing,
sharing.
that's all.
Yeah, no.
The message came from Microsoft, which was funny.
Yeah, like, hey, we
ask.
heard you. As long as you sign into your account on an Xbox, you can download the game and play it. Yeah, and just like as if you bought if you bought a what is it? A used Xbox. If you bought a used Xbox and you wiped it out, or whatever the hell, you'd have to sign in with it. So yeah, I can understand. Just like any computer, if I got another computer, boom, I got Steam on here. Guess what?
Okay, so basically, what I'm getting here from the chat and stuff is that you can share an account.
Well,
I mean, not on their terms.
Steam, you can kind of share an account, but no, on theirs, basically when you're done, you log out, and then he doesn't have access to your game.
Right.
And then you log into yours. Like, it's kind of like how EA does. Like,
I was under the impression that the account is locked into that machine.
No. But what EA does, right? If I'm signing on this machine, right? I turn on my laptop, and that signs into that. It'll sign me out. One or the other will sign the other out. It'll be like, nope, hey, you can't have two. You can't have two.
Well, I know for certain they also, how you were talking about buying a used Xbox or so forth, I know they also pay attention to our consoles too. Like, if I were to sell my Xbox 360 to someone, I'd kind of be jerking them because I modified my Xbox 360, and they might think, hey, that's awesome. I can play copied games and do whatever with it. That's awesome. But at the same time, I got code of conducted for quite a while, and now I can go back and use it, but I cannot use that Xbox anymore. That Xbox has been banned from the network. So if I sold that to somebody else and they're like, well, I'm just going to go out and get on their Xbox Live account, they can't on that machine. That machine is blacklisted.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like...
They do pay attention.
Yeah. But what do you do, like, I guess it's really not their problem, but, like, what do you do if you buy it and you're like, dude, why my thing's blacklisted, I didn't do anything, what the hell?
I guess you would call Microsoft. Microsoft would tell you what the problem is. They probably won't fix it. Maybe they'll tell you, and then you can go back to the game store and say, I want to exchange this. I don't want a new one. I just want to exchange it. This is what happened to this console. I got it last week. Please fix the problem. They probably will.
Yeah.
I don't want something better. I don't want something different. Just
fix it.
Yeah.
And the one in our chat is saying, what's the deal with the Xbox One and Windows 10? And I was saying it earlier. Basically, you're getting the Xbox One right now has Windows 8 basically, but just coded for Xbox. So it's gonna have Windows 10 coded for Xbox, and then after it has Windows 10, then you'll be able to.
It'll probably.
See, the thing is about what's going on with the whole Windows 10. See, they threw a lot of people off because they didn't, it's like Razer saying the thing, not really sure yet, but you can stream from your Xbox through your PC. So what they made kind of people think, though, like the way they worded it, or at least they made, some people like me think, the way I've had it worded to me, is that you'll be able, if you have Windows 10, to just play Xbox One games. So I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like I could just go out and get an Xbox One game and throw it in my computer now because I have Windows 10. But no, no, it's kind of like as Tufel's saying now. It's like the Nvidia Shield. It's kind of the same thing. I don't know if you're familiar with the Nvidia Shield, but basically it's kind of like a tablet. It streams from your computer to the tablet, so you can be like to the pad in another room. It's kind of the same thing. So you got the Xbox One in the family room, but they're watching TV in the family room, but you want to use your Xbox One. Well, you can actually, since if you have Windows 10 on your if you have Windows 10 on your computer, you'll actually be able to stream your Xbox totally like flawless within that home network that you're on, within that local network. You'll be able to stream it to your computer, and it's, from what I understand, pretty like lag free. It's pretty nice. So like you just have your laptop or whatever in your room, and you're using the Xbox One's power. So all the laptop is doing is streaming. So it's not really that big of a deal. You plug your controller in, and boom, everything works there. It's not like you're wirelessly going however many rooms away. It plugs right into the computer. So it is cool. It is cool what they're doing. And like I said, with the Windows, with Xbox and PlayStation getting the mouse and keyboard support, I know some people are against that. I still think it's kind of cool that it opens up doors for things like games like maybe The Sims. Now that everything's downloading, you got to install and download all your shit onto the thing anyways. It's basically like a computer net, since some probably probably you'll see with mouse and keyboard support like more games that are like point and click kind of thing, like things that really require more of a mouse and keyboard. You'll see those kind of games on there, and then you'll see DLC for it too, so that won't stop the game from being there. Um, so, um, I think though, um, that the way they did it though is pretty wild. With the Xbox One, everything they're kind of changing with it. It's pretty like at a left wing, but I'm kind of happy they are making the changes. I'm not a big fan of consoles, but I still give them their respect. I do love the PC more, but it is cool to have. It was cooler when the games didn't have to be installed, though. That's the bottom line. Now with the games having to be installed, it's just annoying. You don't get that satisfaction of I just went out, bought a game, boom, put it in my system and play it. It's like I just went out, bought a game, I'm gonna put it in my system and wait however fucking long it takes until it's done.
It's a little great.
How long does a game usually take when it's a CD? Like I don't have one, so I don't know. But when you got a CD, how long does a game usually take?
Depends on the game,
Or I
how
should
big
say
it
a
is.
DVD or whatever.
I'm gonna say it could take an hour. An hour is a nice average. It could take an hour. It could be.
Now just think of that. There's no computer I have ever been on that took an hour to install a game.
Yeah,
Why does it take an
games
hour to
install
install
faster
it?
on PC. Why? I don't know what the story is.
I don't get that either. I mean, the hard drive is a hard drive. I mean, what it may, even if it's at 5,600 RPMs, 7,200 RPMs, it's not going to make that much of a difference that it takes an hour. And someone in the chat is saying, would you rather have longer loading times? That's, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, why does it take so long to install? That's more the thing. I could take the same exact game on an Xbox One, install it, and it takes however long. Let's say it's a 60 game and it takes an hour. I could take that same game on a computer, it'll be done in like 10 minutes.
It must just be a different form of compression, and why they use a different form of compression,
that must
I don't
be
know.
it, yeah.
I don't know why they would use a different one, and it's just dedicated to that hardware, I guess. But again, I feel it's probably all about compression.
And it does go back to the hardware as well. It does go back to the hardware. If you got your computer pumping out some crazy stuff, and people try to, consoles pump out so much on the processor. Oh, the PC doesn't even have processors like bull crap. They do. They definitely do. But computers made
Console
consoles
processors
wouldn't be
are
there.
more dedicated to what they're supposed to be doing. That's what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, and see, people are saying installed and smooth gameplay is obviously the best, but I totally agree with that. I'm not saying I don't agree with that. What I'm saying is, why the hell does an install just take so long? And that's what we were talking about. And then Sazi said, you know, uh, you know, about how the hardware in there, and that's what we were talking about. The hardware, the compression the form of compression, you know. So, you know, uh, it's just crazy, to have that feeling now that it's not the same as it used to be in the sense of just get it, pop it in, play it. But we do remember some load times. Who remembers Vice City on PS2? Fuck yeah, let's go and wait forever to cross. Alright, going across the... Dude, I'm gonna go make some lunch real quick. You want anything, man? I'll make some, tuna fish sandwich. Probably still won't be loaded by the time I get back.
You made me try to think about the longest load times that I know of, and like I said, I owned the Neo Geo, and I remember they tried to come out with the cheaper, more affordable for people. They had the Neo Geo CD, and that CD read at 1x. 1x.
Yeah.
Wow. And at the most inopportune times. Like King of Fighters, I don't know if you're familiar with King of Fighters. Like, you jump out. It's a team match.
Okay.
And it would, literally load between each character. You're like, what? But, whatever. You just got me thinking about load times, that's all.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Resident Evil load times after you go through every door. This is going to end up being another 2-hour stream. This is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? This was fun, though. We talked about a lot of craziness. But yeah, PS1, man, with the Resident Evil load times. But see that's where there's a gripe of a new game that's out that I haven't played in a long time, so maybe it's changed, but I know everyone even was complaining. The Sims 4 is let's click and do that load. And it's not like a quick load either. It took a little time. It was a good, minute and a half, 2 minutes between each load. Load. Are you kidding me? Let's go back here. Load. Shit, I forgot something else. Load. What the hell is going on? So, that's...
You know how those people...
That's a new game.
You know how those people, they calculate, on an average, how much time you spend in your life in your car, or on an average, how much time you spent online at a grocery store.
I want to know how much
of our life in
have
years
we spent
have
with
we
loading
spent
screens.
In load time screens, really?
Even if it's a Windows load time screen, installing updates. Okay. Man, I'll tell you, that's the worst thing about installing Windows, isn't it? When you got the fresh install, you're like, oh man, this looks all good. 157 updates. Then you're like, yeah, I got them all done. Ooh, that took forever. 123. What the? Where the fuck are all these updates coming from, man? Well, yeah, Nintendo didn't really have a lot of load time action, but
I forget on the consoles, the disc-based consoles. I forget how it was. Obviously, cartridge was bam right there.
Yeah, but even the disc-based wasn't too bad, but there wasn't really much to them, so load times were better on the N64, he says. Okay.
I don't even remember any on the N64, really. I mean, maybe it was a flash. That was about it, like loading, and there you go. I don't really remember, the N64. I don't remember a bar on the N64 going up.
No. PS2 was, the real big culprit of, load times, I feel. That was the start of
there's even PS1.
God.
PS1 there's
Yeah, that's true. Metal Gear Solids and stuff like that. Oh man, you go through any door. It was crazy. Cartridge definitely was faster.
Cartridge works, man. I don't know how old a lot of you guys are, but my first PlayStation, it was working. Then I had to play with it upside down. It works better like this, dude. It's broken.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then I remember what was it? People were putting, I forget what system. Oh, remember when the PS2 like, oh look, you can set it on its side and it'll spin faster and play better.
Didn't do
That
anything.
let me tell you right now, that was the most piece of shit garbage DVD player I've ever had in my entire life. And I've had some shit DVD players. I'm talking by like companies named Dual.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've had some shit DVD players, okay? For something that could play at the time what I thought and many people thought were kick-ass games. Dude, a DVD would be like, it could be brand new right out the package. Skipping and shit,
I don't know.
pausing.
I abused my PS2 too. I've modded almost every system I've had. I abused the PS2. I've had a couple PS2s. They broke. Remember the blue disc problem? That was a huge thing. They hated running those blue discs. You know how some of them had like a blue shiny bottom? Those sucked. But I abused my PS2s. There was like swap tricks you could do, you know, to open the drawer, get this drawer out there, put it in. And same thing on the PS1. PS1 had a swap trick too, and they tried to get around that with the PS2 by making it, you know, like a drawer. But the PS1, I remember the first generations of them, you could just mod it so the door would stay open. You know, and you would wait for the BIOS to load up, like it would flash up Sony, and then quick rip it out and throw one on, and then it would, as long as it got to load up BIOS, then it was fine. Sega Saturn I did that a lot with too.
Yeah,
But Saturn was nice because it had a load light. Like it had like this loading thing, and it would go like 3 times, like plunk, 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 and that's when he knew exactly when to bam, bam. But you know what's funny is after the abuse that I put my Saturn through, it still works.
Yeah, you know what?
It's a disc-based system. I don't know how old it is, and it works.
I think I have it. What newer console was it? 360. Like if you like moved it like a good move, like during like while I was playing disc, it wouldn't have like a sensor to tell like how high the lens would go or whatever.
Yeah, and put a nice big.
Yeah, you hear that. Oh shit! And fucking perfect ring right around that. Oh. Yeah. I think, you know what? That happened to a Modern Warfare on me, and I knew this girl that really hooked me up at the store. That she's just like, I was like, look, what are you gonna do with this? Yeah, you know, just swap this. Yeah, all right, cool. So I got another one. I was like, yes. Modern Warfare 2. That was. Call of Duty, and that was really fun. That was probably my favorite Call of Duty of all time. You know, you probably weren't much into Call of Duties or didn't.
I played them. I've had them. You know.
Oh, okay.
I've had a few.
I'm kind of surprised they're still very expensive. It was an NHL, and I moved to my three. Destroyed my disc. It was an NHL game. Yeah. See, yeah. It had a problem. Like it didn't have a sensor to like say, hey, you're raising up into the disc. No. It's just like. Fuck it. I don't care. Like, oh, did I have to move a little bit? Yeah, let's go back down. Oh, man, I ruined it. Oh. You know, I don't know. It's just like, some of the simplest technologies I don't get. Like all's it needed, honestly, all's it needed as well was the little, like, holster like hook kind of thing that it always has, like in the, like even in your computer trays, it's got the little tiny like nubs that come out. So if your shit is on its side, CD's like, hey, I'm not falling out.
PS2 had that.
Yeah.
That's why it could do the sideways thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But putting it sideways didn't make any difference. That was just something stupid and novel.
And there, what? N64 had a Resident Evil?
Yeah, I think so.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2, I guess. Wow.
I don't know. I didn't play much of it, but anything that they tried, again, it should have had a CD system of some kind. Like, they had a Ridge Racer too, and I've been a Ridge Racer fan for a long time.
Yeah, I remember you got
and
me into Ridge Racer.
You know, it just wasn't really.
I don't know. I played some of the more recent Ridge Racers. I wasn't too fond of them or whatever. You know.
I think the last one was 6 on the Xbox 360, and the game is huge. The game is huge. As you unlock worlds, and it goes on and on, like how big this thing gets, and you're just like, my God, it's still going.
Yeah.
It got crazy into it. I mean, it went so far, and took it and twisted it so much, you had like Pac-Man races.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
where
yeah,
you're
yeah.
Pac-Man running around the track drifting and stuff. It was just like they threw everything they could at that game. It's a good game. It's probably $1 if you can find it. It's a good game.
You know, what was the game that was really good? That was really cheap. See, that brings me to probably the final thing I'll talk about before we shut off for the night, and that's where I have to get to, and people can have their agreements or disagreements with me, but I'm sure anyone in the room right now will agree with me, and I know you've seen it. PC game prices versus console game prices for the same damn game, doesn't matter, is a way different scenario. Like, holy shit. The savings difference in what you get on PC for your game versus your console. Oh, it's just like someone was, I said something like, I was telling someone about, oh, GameStop was arguing, because they were, a long time ago, GameStop was like, oh, these the digital copies shouldn't be cheaper than the physical copies, they should all be the same price. It's like, why? There's no production, okay, in the physical, or I mean, in the digital copies.
There's no shipping.
Right, exactly. It's like, here you go, it's on the internet, install your shit. So why should I pay the same price as something that takes shipping? It takes a production of a manual. It takes also, the cases, all the materials, the wrapping materials, everything to get it out to where it needs to be.
I think if there were a price difference, you would feel that there was an agenda. Like, if there was a price difference between digital download and going out and buying a physical copy, you would feel that the industry is pushing you into digital copies. And nobody likes to be pushed, at least not knowingly.
Right, but I mean, the digital copies is so great. Like, I go on Steam and I just look at my vast library of shit. There's a game, though, that I tried to get on Steam. And I guess I did get it to run on Windows 7, but it's not as easy as you would think. But, actually it wasn't too bad. But, The Movies, there's a game called The Movies, and you couldn't get it anywhere. Like, some of these games that you just can't get through Steam, you just have to get a physical copy, But still, it's way cheaper to get any kind of game, I've noticed, on PC. Regardless if you get a digital download for Xbox, or you get...
Well, did digital download kill... I mean, like, someone just said, like, there's more PCs out there. And I think they're probably right, because a PC has become almost an integrated part of your house. I mean, it's almost like your refrigerator.
Yeah, but, they have a PC, but it's probably using...
Is it a game rig?
Right. It's most like, half the people who got PCs... Yeah, my dad's got a computer, and it runs off of its motherboard, internal graphics, got shit processor and shit RAM, and that's what the majority of people have.
I don't know. I don't like to talk about stuff I don't know, so I'm going to state that I don't know, but I feel that consoles are geared more for the masses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean...
If you go to the GameStop, and you're like, where's your PC section? Or whatever game. It doesn't matter if it's Walmart or whatever. It doesn't have to be GameStop. You go to anywhere, like, where's your PC section? And your PC section is like,
Yeah, like a little shelf. Like,
now, I don't know if that's strictly because of digital downloads. That could very well be. It probably is.
It probably is.
But I just feel that the consoles are generated more for the masses.
But still, man, like the cheapest game I found was Forza for that $20 for you for Xbox One. I mean, really, that's the cheapest?
Yeah.
And now someone says consoles
yes, they are.
they are geared towards the broadcasters, but then you find out at the end of it, shit, I spent just as much as buying a computer with all these damn games.
They're definitely, like I said in the first episode, I would much rather have a PC. I would much rather have a PC to do. My PC does what I want it to, but it doesn't play, like, let's say, next generation games. My PC will play basically what 360 will play. I can play next generation stuff on it. And most of my PC is used for retro gaming, and obviously it's my music library and it's my movie library, and
Right.
so it's doing everything that I want. With next generation games on PCs and stuff like that, nobody. I mean, with the console, you bring it home and you throw your disc in, and you know it's going to run to the optimal ability that the designer wanted it to run at. Okay, it's going to run at its optimum. Nobody likes bringing a PC home game and saying like, oh, I gotta turn the texture down a little bit. I gotta turn the lighting down. Oh, I gotta turn the anti-aliasing off.
Yep.
Nobody likes that because you feel like you're not getting what you paid for. Well, then okay, just go out and spend an assload more money, and that's kind of not cool. I don't like that feeling.
Yeah, and it's like you save on the games that you pay for the hardware for the PC game, and it's true. And it's like the other one, like I was even saying, you know, it kind of evens itself out in the cost. Like, okay, your games are cheap, but your hardware is expensive. Oh, well, your hardware is expensive. Or, I mean, your hardware is cheap, but your games are fucking holy shit. So, yeah, it's kind of the same thing. But I think basically that really, I think we've summed up everything we possibly can for the night. You know, I don't really have anything else. I was gonna like mention Rocket League, but I'll do that like next time, you know, because Rocket League has been out for a while now, so it's nothing important. I just, you know, it's a game I'm interested in.
Yeah, well, dude, you know,
it's a car. It's a turbo car soccer game ish rocket thing.
I guess we're approaching that hour. Unless you want to hand me that Yankee cup, for the guy who didn't like the Yankees. If you want to hand me that Yankee cup, I can take care of my business right here under this table.
Oh, well,
yeah.
You know that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know.
There was a couple of jokes going on there at the same time. Anyway.
They're probably already used for that, just letting you know.
You know what? I know the household, and you're probably right.
So, just say it. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out. It's been awesome having you on for the second episode of RSG Off the Cuff. Yes, that's right. We're right off there, because that's obviously why we're all over the place, because we don't rehearse it, we don't write it, we pick out some topics, but that's probably like the extent of it. So for everyone watching on Twitch, I'm sure pretty much everyone in here, I'm pretty sure everyone in here is already I think everyone in here is a mod. I don't think, but anyways, regardless, you know, everyone in here, if you haven't followed, make sure you do follow. But also, for people on YouTube, there's a subscribe button, and it should be somewhere around that way. Yeah, over there. There should be a subscribe button. You can hit it, or maybe no. It's right below. It's right here. I don't even remember where the subscribe button is. Hell, it makes for fun anyways. So,
maybe.
But I know the like button's over here, so you can hit the like, and if you dislike it, you know, let us know what you don't like about it.
Sure, leave some comments.
So, you know,
give some ideas.
You know, leave some ideas, leave some comments. Let's figure out some stuff. You know, maybe we'll wear some suits and get some French cuffs next time. So, thanks all for checking out the show, and share this out to some people so they can get some information.